Hello everyone, this is Pustak and today we are going to discuss about a story of my childhood by Abdul Kalam from Unit 4 Education's Grade 12 Compulsory English New Course. Before reading this story of my childhood by Abdul Kalam, which has been taken out from an illustrated autobiography, My Life. And before reading this in biography, we have to see some of the questions mentioned in our textbooks. The question A: childhood is a chance for kids to discover who they are before the world tells them who they should be. Do you agree or not? So the answer is yes. I agree with the statement that childhood is a chance for the kids to discover who they are before the world tells them who they should be, because it is childhood which molds the youth of a person. And as the very famous paradox of William Wordsworth states, the child is the father of the man. It is the childhood which shapes the youth, and even youth shapes to the future is father. Share one of your interesting childhood memories. The answer is my childhood memories. I still recall my childhood moments and feel so pleasant and delighted. Ekdam happy feel good. So recalling those childhood recollections in my mind always brings a smile in my face. I was the youngest in my family, so everyone loved me a lot. I still remember how I used to cry for a lollipop at night, and my dad would always get it to me no matter how late it was. My grandmother was my most favorite personality in the world. She used to feed me so many delicious dishes. At night, she used to tell me so many stories. The most interesting incidents of my childhood is of my first day at school, as I cried a lot the whole day in the school loudly. My teacher gave me chocolates and then I stopped crying. He is Abdul Kalam, the former president of India and one of the greatest scientists of the world. Then glossary: childhood memories of Indian scientist APJ Abdul Kalam. Aya to express surprise beckoned, signaled, used gestures, endures to continue in the same state. Kana, a cultural term, refers to boy. Chutney, it's also a cultural term. Achar in Urdu. Kripsi, cool, awesome, smeared, stained, marked, अथवा दाग. Puddles related to civil engineering field. Witnessed, observed, watched. Elementary, primary school for the first 6 or 8 grades. Then about the main points are childhood memories of Indian scientist APJ Abdul Kalam. The figure also reflects how he looked in his childhood. Abul Pakir Zainulabuddin Abdul Kalam was born on 15th October 1931 to a Tamil Muslim family in a pilgrimage center of Rameswaram on Pamban Island, and now in the state of Tamil Nadu. His father Zainulabuddin वाज अ बोट ओनर, उनीसँग एउटा बोट हुन्थ्यो, बोट चलाउने गर्थे, यता पिलिग्रिमेजहरूलाई, तीर्थयात्रीहरूलाई एक ठाउँबाट अर्को ठाउँमा के गर्थे, पुर्याउने गर्थे. And he was also imam of a local mosque. His mother Asiama was a housewife. In his childhood, बाल्यकालमा, he was greatly influenced by his parents, teachers, and his friends. These were the inspiration for him. The problems faced by Kalam in his childhood are financial problems and electricity problems. So, in absence of electricity, he used to sit under the street light and read his textbooks. He had immense affections and respect for his parents. He inherited the value of honesty and self-discipline from his father and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Thus, it is said that he learned so many things from his father and mother. He had three close friends since his childhood. They are Ramananda Sastri, Arvindan, and Shiva Prakashan. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin family. Ramanand Sastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshman Sastri, the high priest of the Rameswaram temple. Once his mathematics teacher visited his house and praised him for scoring full marks in mathematics and science, good marks in other subjects. He was very good in mathematics and science but from his childhood. His mother cooked sweets and delicious foods and then they enjoyed a lot. Kalam took Arabic tuition class where he learned Quran and visited his mathematics teacher's house for extra special maths class in his childhood days. When he was a child, he along with his intimate friends used to build boats made up of leaves and keep them ready in case it rained and they enjoyed it a lot by sailing in the rain. Sivhasu Brahmania Iyer was his teacher, who taught them mechanism of how birds fly. When Kalam, along with his other friends, did not understand his lecture, he took them to the beach, समुद्रको किनारामा लिएर जान्छ, to demonstrate how birds fly in the real world. कसरी रियल लाइफमा बर्ड्सहरू उड्ने गर्छन् देखाउनको लागि mechanism of birds flying, he takes them to the seashore. It inspired him much in the field of aeronautical engineering. APJ Abdul Kalam today became the president to make a short and supersonic fighter jet and a goal and missions of his life. Working with words. Match the words in column A with their meanings column B. Column A expectantly यसलाई match गर्छौं in a way shows you are hoping for something, especially something good or exciting. Beckon, that means to give signal. Grapple, to try hard to find a solutions. Texture, the way food or drink taste feels in your mouth. Cobalt, having a surface that is made up of small round stones. Filmy, thin and easily torn. Attire, clothes especially fine or formal ones. Marvelous, extremely good, wonderful. Dynamics, the science of the forces involving movement. Then about this question B. An autobiography is a story of a person's life written by himself or herself. Use a dictionary and find the meanings of the following words related to the people's life story. First one is hagiography. A type of biography that puts the subjects in a very flattering light. For instance, about the saints. साधुहरूको बारेमा. Psychobiography. A biography written from the psychodynamic or psychoanalytic point of view. Third one, pathography, the study of a life of, of an individual or the history of a community with regard to the influence of a particular disease or psychological disorder is pathography. Chronicle, a factual written account of important or historical events in the order of their occurrence. Obituary, a notice of a death, especially a newspaper typically including a brief biography of a deceased person's character sketch, a brief written description of a person's qualities. Profile, a short article giving a description of a person or organization. Memoir, a historical account or biography written from a personal knowledge. Next one, comprehension. Put the following events in the life of Abdul Kalam in a chronological order. So here is the first, this above one is presented in our textbooks. We have to write them in a such order. First we write Abdul Kalam attended an elementary school at Rameswaram. One day Abdul Kalam's teacher visited them to share his pride and pleasures about his performance. They celebrated happiness with Poli. A new teacher in his school forbade Abdul Kalam to sit together with his Brahmin friends. Many students didn't understand well of Shiva Subramania's Iyer's lectures. He then took the students to the seashore for the practical classes. Abdul Kalam was determined that he would make a future study about the flight and flight system. Then about answer the following questions. Question A. What were the causes of Abdul Kalam's happiness? The answer is arrival of his math teacher at his house. 1. His scoring of full marks. Second, in mathematics and science. Third, good in other subjects as well. His teachers feeling proud of him, and even especially his teachers visiting his house to tell about his result to his family members. These were the causes of happiness for Abdul Kalam. Question B. Which two places did Abdul Kalam visit before going to school? स्कुल जानुभन्दा अगाडि उनी दुईवटा कुन कुन ठाउँ भिजिट गर्ने गर्थे त? The first one his Arabic tuition classes where he learned the Quran, and his mathematics teacher's house for extra special math class. These were the two places he used to visit before going to school. Question C. What did he like about mathematics? Mathematics मा उनी के कुराहरू मन पराउँथे त? He liked about learning numbers, their rules, patterns, grappling with numbers, problems in mathematics. These are the things he liked regarding the mathematics. Question D. Why was the new teacher unhappy? नयाँ टिचर किन खुसी हुँदैन त? The new teacher was unhappy because he found Abdul Kalam, a Muslim boy, was sitting with Brahmin boy Ram Nanda Shastri, as he was predetermined by the concept of religious division. Question E. Why did Abdul Kalam have to split with his intimate friend? उनी आफ्नो एकदमै आत्मीय फ्रेन्डसँग किन छुट्टिनु पर्छ? Abdul Kalam had to split with his intimate friends for his higher studies, which was only available in the big cities, and the school at Rameswaram was only up to secondary level. Therefore, he has to depart from his best friends. What was the topic of Sivasu Brahmania's Ayer's class? The topic of Sivasu Brahmania's Ayer's class was how birds fly. The topic was how birds fly. चराहरू कसरी उड्छन्? Which is taught by drawing a diagram of a birds on a blackboard depicting the wings, tails, and the body structure. He explained how birds create the lift and fly. He also explained to them how is change dire is how they change direction how they change direction. How explain to them how they change direction. Question G. How was the teacher's reaction when the students told him that they didn't understand his lecture? जब विद्यार्थीहरूले के भने उनीहरूले टिचरको लेक्चर बुझेनन्, टिचरको रिएक्सन कस्तो थियो? The teacher wasn't upset and furious when the student told him that he didn't understand his lecture. Question H. Why did Subramania Iyer take his students to the seashore? उले आफ्नो विद्यार्थीहरूलाई समुद्रको किनारामा किन लिएर जान्छ? He took his students to the seashore to demonstrate how birds fly by flapping wings, twisting their tail in their real life. A mechanism of birds fly. To demonstrate the mechanism of birds fly, he took the students to the seashore or the beach. Then critical thinking. APJ Abdul Kalam became a renowned aerospace scientist in his later life. Do you find any association of his childhood days in shaping his career? Explain with specific instances from the text. Known as the Missile Man for his role in developing India's early space rockets and ballistic missiles, Abdul Kalam was much loved and a renowned aerospace scientist in his later life. Of course, there are many instances of his childhood days in the shaping his career. Some of them are as follows. When he was a child, the first one, when he was a child, he, along with his intimate friends, used to build boats made up of leaves and keep them ready in case it rained. He enjoyed it a lot. Second, Subramania's Ayers was his teacher, who taught them mechanism of how birds fly. And when Kalam and along with his other friend didn't understand his lectures, he took them to the beach to demonstrate how birds fly in the real world. It inspired him much in the field of aeronautical engineering. Third, he was very interested in solving difficult mathematical puzzles in an easy way and interesting way, which also helped him a lot. Whenever he had time, he used to visit seaside of Rameswaram and visualize the birds flying for hours. His high school teacher, Sivasubramania Iyer, was good at explaining avian flight dynamics and how birds fly in the sky. And these are the instances which help which helps him to obtain his own aim of is aeronautical engineering. Kalam mentions an instance of discrimination against him in his school life. What picture of society does he want to depict by mentioning the incidents? कलामले एउटा घटनालाई डिस्क्राइब गर्छन् जसमा भेदभाव देखाइएको छ उनको स्कुल लाइफमा त्यो घटनाबाट उनले के मेन्सन्स गर्न खोजेका हुन् In his biography, A Story of My Childhood, Kalam mentions an instance of discrimination against him in his school life. Once he, a Muslim boy, and his intimate friend Ramanandan Sastri, a Hindu boy, were sitting together in the same bench in the class. His new teacher made him get up and go sit elsewhere. As the teacher was predetermined by the thoughts of caste division, doctrine of religion, he was shocked and heartbroken to see this. It was one of the painful days of his life. That evening, Ramanandan's father, who was also the head of the priest of Rameswaram Shiva temple, heard about this and he visited Kalam's father. And then together they spoke to the teacher and told him that he should not have brought the division of religion into classroom. Children should grow up together, studying, playing without their faiths coming in between. Teacher understand this and Ramanandan and Kalam were allowed to sit together as usual. By this, he wants to depict the picture of caste discrimination and discrimination based on religion was prevalent in India during the time. And some of the people, like his family and Ramananda's family, were against them. Then a question's writing. Write a short autobiography featuring your childhood life using the following guidelines: date, places of birth, family backgrounds, daily life, school life, special events of your childhood. As Abdul Kalam's biography is presented in our textbooks, by the help of that, you can also mention your biography taking the help of these points. Grammar. Under grammatic portions, we will study connectives, and under this connective, we will study only is these two sort of connectives as joining words. One is although, even though, and though. Another in spite of or despite. So the example is although she spoke very fast, I understood what she meant to say. In spite of her hard labor, she failed her exam. Though he had all the required qualification, he didn't get the job. Despite having all the qualification, he didn't get the jobs. These are the examples how they are used in the now is join the following pairs of sentences twice using although, even though, and this though. These three are same. Although, even though, and though. They can be used in place of each other. Another one is despite and is in spite of. This although, though, and even though are same, you can use anyone. And the next one, despite and in spite of are same. यस्तो भए तापनि यो हुँदा हुँदै यस्तो चीज घटना घट्यो यद्यपि भन्छौं अर्को यस्तो भए तापनि यस्तो हुँदा हुँदै For example, Nepali people have limited income. They are very happy. So the answer is, although Nepali people have limited income, they are very happy. Nepali people are happy in spite of their limited income. Or we can say that in spite of having limited income, in spite of their limited income, they are happy. So use of although को प्रयोग गर्ने बेलामा हामीले although, even though यिनीहरुको प्रयोग गर्ने बेलामा के बुझ्ने त although, even though, and though. यसपछि फर्स्ट सेन्टेन्स सार्नुस् सब्जेक्ट verb object लेख्नुस् कमा लेख्नुस् अनि के गर्नुस् सेकेन्ड सेन्टेन्स सार्दिनुस् यो के भइहाल्यो although, even though र though. But while using despite or in spite of यसको रुल्स के छ despite, in spite of यहाँ NP भनेको noun phrase. We have to change this first sentence RS into noun phrase र copy the second sentence as usual. पहिलो sentence-लाई noun phrase-मा change गर्ने. अब noun phrase change गरेर sentence अर्को के भन्न सक्छौं even we can remove but and still if the sentence carry these two things यदि यो sentence मा हामीले but दिएको छ sentence मा still दिएको छ भने यो दुईटालाई के गर्दिने हटाइदिने but र still हटाए भने better हुन्छ yes the question A he is a millionaire he lives in a simple house अब first one although he is a millionaire same although अगाडि राख्ने फर्स्ट सेन्टेन्स सार्ने कमा गर्ने सेकेन्ड सेन्टेन्स कपी गरिदिने यो भनेको although even though र सरी दो तीनटाको भइहाल्यो सेकेन्डमा के छ यहाँ भर्ब तिम्रो दिएको छ इज दिएको छ लुक हियर इज पहिलो क्वेशन्समा यहाँ भर्ब इज दिएको छ यसलाई के गर्ने आईएनजी मा कन्भर्ट गरिदिने बीइङ गरिदिने in spite of being rich in spite of being millionaire we can write down this as well in spite of being rich in spite of being millionaire he lives in a simple house comma गर्ने then के गर्ने second sentence copy गर्ने same ways the weather was extremely bad the pilot landed plane safely first write though although even though copy the first sentence comma then copy the second sentence here is despite the bad weather despite being the bad weather even we can write despite the bad weather despite being the bad weather and then copy the second sentence the pilot landed the plane then question C we study in the same college we hardly see each other हामी एउटै कलेजमा पढ्छौं तर हामी rarely एकअर्कालाई भेट्छौं first while using even though we copy the first sentence even though we study in the same college comma we hardly see each other but while changing the first sentence into noun phrase study like के गर्यौं studying गर्दियौं in spite of studying in the same college we hardly see each other then is question D it rained heavily we enjoyed our holidays while using although then copy the first sentence and the second sentence is although it rained heavily we enjoyed our holidays in spite of heavy rain गाह्रो एकदम ठूलो पानी परे तापनि हामी के गर्यौं त we enjoyed our holidays question E I had an umbrella I got wet in the rain so first though I had an umbrella I got wet in the rain and second one we have to change had into having and then copy an umbrella despite having an umbrella I got wet in the rain I was really tired very tired is I could not sleep a moment although I was really tired I could not sleep a moment the next in spite of tiredness change the tired into tiredness in spite of tiredness I couldn't sleep a moment then about question G she has very good accent in English she failed in the interview of newsreader राम्रो लवज राम्रो बोली उनको इंग्लिश ल्याङ्ग्वेजमा भए तापनि उनलाई इन्टरभ्युमा फेल गरियो even though no here comma is even though she has very good accent in English she failed in the interview of a newspaper despite change this have into has into having despite having very good accent in English she failed the interview of a newspaper Lhasa has extremely cold weather in winter millions of tourists go there in January Although Lhasa has extremely cold weather in winter, millions of tourists go there in January. Then, in spite of extremely cold weather in winter, millions of tourists go Lhasa in January. He was badly injured in the first round of the boxing match. He was victorious in the third round. First round मा उनी के भयो घाइते भए तापनि थर्ड राउन्डमा विनर भयो अब दो युज गर्ने बेलामा दो युज गर्ने फर्स्ट देन कपी द फर्स्ट सेन्टेन्स एन्ड सेकेन्ड सेन्टेन्स बट वाइल युजिङ डिस्पाइट युज गर्ने बेलामा यहाँ भब के छ वाज छ ह्याभ छ भने ह्याभिङ गरिदिने वाज छ भने बिइङ गरिदिने being very bad injury in the first round of the boxing match he was victorious in the third round then complete each sentences in an appropriate way question A half of the sentence is given we have to complete the remaining part we can right in our own way as well. So here the question A, he passed the exam, although he was very poor in study, although he didn't study well. Is she climbed the mountain in spite of her tiredness, in spite of her sickness. उनी बिरामी भए तापनि, tiredness भए तापनि mountain climbed गरिन्. She didn't give any alms to the beggars. भिखारीहरूलाई कुनै पनि भिक्षा दिँदैनन्. Though he was a millionaire, though he was very rich. In spite of his poor eyesight, he could read the textbooks well. He could read the newspaper. She never helps the poor people, though she is very sociable, though she is very rich. She didn't pass SAE in spite of her 10th attempt. He didn't pass SE. He didn't pass SE in spite of his 10th attempt. He refused to eat anything despite of his hunger. भोको भए तापनि उसले के गर्यो खाना खान अस्वीकार गर्यो. Despite of his feeling weak, he could not score good grades in the SE exam in spite of his hard labor. उसले गाह्रो परिश्रम गरे तापनि धेरै पढे तापनि in spite of his hard labor. And then she accepted the jobs although she didn't like it. उनले job नमन पराए पनि उनी के गरिन् त जबलाई like गरिन्. Even though we had planned everything carefully, we could not achieve the complete success. हामीले योजना गरेका थियौं तैपनि सफल भएनौं. Then there is a project works. Yes, and this conduct and auditory context on education is the foundation of development. Invite your English teachers as a judge, and here we have written an essay. Education is the foundation of development. So on the basis of this is topic, we can write an essay, and the example is given below. Education is an overall process of not only personal growth but an enriching growth of the society and nation. It is the foundation of development of any nation. Education gives people the skills they need to help themselves out of poverty and leads towards the prosperity. एजुकेसनले मान्छेको पोभर्टी हटाउनमा मद्दत गर्छ, prosperity ल्याउनमा मद्दत गर्छ. It increases the propensity for the better employment opportunity. It creates the better employment opportunity in the country. Not only the education makes a smart, informed population, but it boosts economic growth, increases the GDP of a country. It allows people to live in a healthy and quality lifestyle with a high standard of living. The quality of education needs better monitoring in both rural and urban Nepal. Awareness programs for a girl child education must be carried out with more zeal and vigor. Education in field of IT has opened galaxies of opportunity in the urban Nepal with jobs in software and many other fields. The emphasis of governments on technical education also highlight the commitment to drive excellence in the areas of research and manufacturing. Holistic development of a nation is only said to occur when material wealth is complemented by cultural, social, and educational achievement. Education for all should be primarily focused as it is only gateway for the sustained development and all-round progress of our nation. This is much about a story of my childhood by Abdul Kalam. If you find these videos helpful and interesting, like it, share it, and subscribe it. Click on the bell icon to get notification from upcoming videos. If you have any queries regarding this chapter, mention below in the comment sections. Goodbye. Have a good day.